What's up, guys? This is a video talking about why you need to be buying the market now and not waiting. Posted a video similar to this. I think this is my first video if you guys want to take a look at that. I think a few days after we had that down 10% day. Like, we had the really terrible back-to-back days where the sky seemed to be falling, and you would see all these videos on social media, like people who had no idea what the stock market was starting to talk about the market. And honestly, obviously, in hindsight, logically, even it made sense. That was the perfect time to buy. When people you don't know are talking about the market, that's the best time to buy. Let's be honest, because that's when fear is at a max, and the upside is just far more rewarding. Now, of course, I'm saying this in hindsight, like I said, and the market's already up certain stocks are up around 20%. I've seen stocks up 30% in the past week off this very, very strong rebound from last week's performance. And obviously that's due to the pausing of rates. Now, why should you buy now and why shouldn't you wait? Well, because as a retail investor, which all of us are, retail investors are always kind of the losers. Retail investors are late to the sell-off. They're late to sell their stocks during a sell-off, and they're late to buy stocks when the market gets bid back up. So that is why they'll always lose. But that's because they try and we, including me as a retail investor, we all try to time everything, and we think we know better than we actually do. Now, I remember, I think, like I said, a few days after I posted my first video, we had that really back-to-back down 10% days. Everyone was talking about the market. I was on social media, on TikTok, and I was seeing random people talk about the market, right? And, I saw this video of this, I don't even know what type of, it was a TikTok video about stocks, and I go to the comment section, I see this girl talking about or I don't know if the video is about it, but the point was, she said, "Oh, I talked to some of my business friends and they said wait for the market, wait to buy because the market would drop a little bit more." Now, that's exactly the loser mindset you'll have as a retail investor, and I don't blame her or her friends, because that's just how we always think. When the markets are down 20%, we'll wait another 5%, etc. And that is exactly how you miss moves like this. You miss a 20% upside move, and I told you guys to buy, and that was a really, really good buy opportunity. Now, again, hindsight's 20/20, but the fact of the matter is, when you're seeing random people who know nothing about the market start talking about the market, that's when you should either be buying or selling, depending on what their connotation is. And we saw VIX obviously at extremely record fearful levels. Like I said, it seemed like the sky was falling. Perfect buy opportunity. Now, why should you be buying now, though? My thesis, which I'm going to point out, I don't know if this is going to be the bottom, or this is going to be the bottom of the foreseeable future, because I do think that there's things down the pipeline that these tariffs can affect, that can make, I guess, obviously push us into a recession, all this stuff, but that takes time. Now, in the near term, in the next few months, I feel like we've bottomed out. Why? Well, because once Trump pushed out all those tariffs, I know you guys remember when he rolled out to the conference with that bulletin board of all the tariffs, and the market just dropped 8% in after hours in a matter of 2 minutes, something I've never seen before. That's kind of the worst it can get. We've seen over the past week, 2 weeks, we've seen Trump starting to work out deals. Now, sure, he's slapping more tariffs onto China and they're doing it back. What's the worst that can happen, right? They'll slap a bit more. Again, all the news, the worst that can happen with regards to tariffs has already happened. Moving forward, Trump is trying to work out deals. Now, deals will obviously push us higher, if we work out things with certain countries. Obviously, China's really the main factor, but the fact that everything that he can possibly do with tariffs has already been done, even if he slaps more tariffs on China, I don't see us dropping down to new lows, because we've seen him do it and it's not really doing much, because he's getting deals done, and it's just, there's not really much more that can happen with regards to tariffs that he can push out that the market hasn't already seen in the past 2 weeks, and the upside potential where if deals are being done can really shoot us back up to highs. And the markets are efficient, but they can be irrational, and we can honestly see us shoot all the way back up. I mean, I think earnings are coming up, which can set us up for an interesting few weeks. Again, could be a monumental buy opportunity. We could be heading back down a bit more, sure. But as far as this relative low here on the NASDAQ, around 403 on QQQ, I don't know if we're going to get back down there for the next few months or so. Now, like I said, things can really transpire with regards to recessionary concerns, and then I don't know, the Federal Reserve and whatnot. But as far as deals are concerned and Trump's policies that are ultimately driving this market, the downside, I feel like, is played out. Last week we had a really good candle. Sorry, guys. I have no idea what's wrong. All right. So, sorry, guys. Technical difficulties, but as you guys can see right here, last week's candle, very, very green, extreme volume. And like I said, deals are just going to continue being made. Sure, there might be some push and pull, but I think the worst is behind us with regards to tariffs. Again, I'm not saying this is the bottom. I'm not saying we're going back up to all-time highs. I am saying, though, you should be buying this, and you should not predict what's going to happen, because obviously Trump's policies are unpredictable at the moment. All you can do is really just wait it out. So, again, I can see us heading a bit higher. As far as specific stocks, again, this is not financial advice. This is just really my opinions and my insights. Also, like I said, let me know names that you guys like. I know I said that in the first video, but I personally like Robinhood. Why? I can talk about that briefly. First of all, I think Robinhood's holding up it's holding relatively well compared to, I don't know what's good of my Robinhood. My trading view. But first off, I think Robinhood is holding relatively strong. I think it's still up year to date, if I'm not wrong. And it's stronger than most names. When I look at, I'm not going to give you the most technical, like, finance bro valuation, because that's not what I'm here to do. But when you look at Robinhood and the industry that it's in, I think it's absolutely at the forefront of this kind of retail trading space. I think Robinhood app is levels ahead of other trading brokers for retail investors, or just, intermediate investors, whatever you may be. I think it's extremely user-friendly. I think they've captured the market share and the audience, right? They were one of the first to do it. I know that back in 2021, they got a lot of scrutiny and a lot of press coverage and backlash from what they did. Sure, it was a bit corrupt, all this stuff, but I think they can right their wrongs, and they have been in the past few years or so. As you can see with this very strong move up, they're making deals. Like I said, they're capturing market share. Recently, they had the deal with Kalshi. They're kind of moving into event contracting, which is kind of like glorified gambling, which is bad. But we can talk about morals all we want and whatnot, but if that's the future, that is the future. And I just think retail trading as a whole, obviously it's not a huge market as a whole, but it is growing tremendously. We're seeing, like, a lot of things that we're seeing now are still pretty unprecedented. Like, 0-day contracts aren't really a super old topic. All these things, like, I don't know, retail trading isn't it hasn't been around for decades and decades. So a lot of things are still growing. I know they're thinking about doing like 24/7 hour markets or whatever. Like, they're trying to open markets 7 days a week. They're thinking about opening new exchanges and whatnot. And I think trading as a whole is going to just keep getting larger and larger. And again, Robinhood has captured that market share already, and I think they're at the forefront of everything. Analogy that I like to use is, I feel like Robinhood's very similar to Walmart in kind of that consumer retail space, where there's obviously other companies like I'm not gonna even give you guys. I'm sure you guys know a lot of different competitors to Robinhood, but when we look at Walmart, we can point to things like Target or other retail consumer stores. But I mean, if we even compare Walmart and Target, I mean, Walmart is miles ahead of any other company. I mean, they've probably bought out so many companies, but you can see that in their market cap. If you guys were to guess, I mean, to those at least who are kind of oblivious to it, Walmart and Target, like, how much larger do you think Walmart is? Now, I just briefly looked it up, and I was already a bit impressed. I thought Walmart was about 10 times larger in terms of market cap. It's actually about 20. It might be larger. I think it's around 20 times larger than Target. And if you look at it on the 5-year time frame, Target's down in the past 5 years, and Walmart's up, what, 100% or something? So, I mean, there's levels to this. It's important to capture market share early, and I think Robinhood has a lot of good things that they're doing, acquisitions that they're making, deals that they're making, and I think the space is just continuing to grow. So, Robinhood's my buy. Again, not financial advice. This is what I'm thinking long term, and I think there's just a lot of upside. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the content, I'd appreciate a like, a sub, would really encourage me to continue pushing out more content, and thank you guys for watching.